the relatives that were brought to live with us, who I believed at night, they would take advantage of me, sexually telling me to do things and I don't know what. I was a child and my innocence was slipping away from me and I didn't know what to do with this information. I knew something wrong was happening. The teachers would tell me even in front of people, Wewe Edel Senior, you will never make it in life. You're a failure, you know, these things. So I would look at the teachers and I don't internalize what they're telling me. I look at them because I was that kid, the people say, she's so wild, she's crazy.
Yes.
So I would tell myself internally, why is this person telling me this? They don't even know me. How are you telling me such heavy words?
During those moments of doubt, what kept you going and how did you deal with, here I am an addict, I have used for a long time, you have withdrawals. How do you deal with all that?
What happens is when you begin to find yourself and you're on this journey, because it's an intentional one.
Yes.
These things will come. Fear, all these low vibrations, they will come, but you're ready because it's an intentional journey. And because you've started intentionally and you know where you're going, you can see. So this keeps you anchored. You know where you're going.
Is there a part of you that regrets the drug dealing process?
Never. I don't regret anything in my life.
You don't regret being a drug dealer?
No, I don't. Actually, my husband used to ask me this. For me at that time, when the way I was seeing, for me it was life and death. It was keeping me alive. So I didn't see anything wrong with it.
Hello and a warm welcome to LNS. My name is Lynn Ngugi, and in case you're wondering where I'm coming from, guys, leo niko Malindi. I'm about to have a show that I know for sure is also going to help me change my life. Now, when famous jazz singer and activist Nina Simone was asked, what is freedom? She said, no fear. I'm looking at my guest and I see a lot of strength, she is owning her story unapologetically, guys. Honestly, I believe some things are very ordained, because when this person's story reached my email, I knew I would have to come to Malindi. And it's not been a tijuzi too, it's been months of planning, and I'm so happy I'm here. She welcomed us to her beautiful home. Guys, you will be seeing a lot of takes as she takes us through her conversation. So I'm asking you guys to just sit, be inspired, be challenged by this thought-provoking conversation, because I know, as I said, myself and a lot of us will not be the same after today's show. And now, without further ado, please allow me to let her introduce herself. Hey.
Hi, Lynn.
Hi, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
You're good?
Yes, I'm good. Thank you so much for coming. Really, from the bottom of my heart, thank you for coming.
I don't even feel like leaving. I haven't even started this interview. I don't feel like going back. I feel like I met my soul sister for some reason.
I knew that too. I felt it already.
The energy is crazy, you know?
Yep.
Yeah, but before niendele, please introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Edel Bahati. What should I say about myself? I always said I'm a mother, I have children, but let me talk about myself first of all.
Yes.
Today is my birthday. I'm 37 today. Well, I'm a mother. I have 2 children, very beautiful children who are my life. Apart from that, I am a very intentional person. And so when I called Lynn to do this interview, I must say from the word go, I didn't want to do it at some point because I felt I didn't need to expose myself, so to say, kind of expose. But then as I was going through my healing journey, when I had points where it was so much for me, I sensed I was doing it not for myself only, and I had to pull through, because if I did this, I knew this would be a survival guide for somebody else.
Yeah.
So I kept going. So when I was a teenager, I was a very troubled teenager. Anybody that knows me, anybody that's watching this and knows me, you know what I'm talking about. So at 13, 14, I ran away from home and I went to the streets and I began to survive. on the streets, just trying to figure out. I thought to myself, I can make it, make my life, go to the streets. I got a little money. I went and I got a house in Madare. I got a 1-bedroom house for 1,500, and I came from Dennis Prit, which is near State House. That culture shock. So I said, I'm going to start from here. Me and these people, I'm very adaptable. I fit in everywhere. You will not know who I am when I'm somewhere. So I went to Madare. I stayed there for 1 month. My door was locked. I don't have money. So I had to now to go back to the streets now properly. I was really, really troubled, troubled. When I was in school, it was so hard for me because I was that student that teachers were always talking about. I was that student who is expelled or suspended, or there was just always something. But under this light, if somebody would have asked, have some concern, I mean, why is somebody this way? You see, no, there was no concern, and I was just there looking lost. I come from a single parent home, and my mom was working and being very religious. To her, it was more of a spiritual battle, you see. So she was fighting the battle on her knees. So I was in and out of school. My mom begged me to make sure that I finished high school. And I said, okay. So I was called to Moi Girls, Cubs. When I was in Cubs, it was crazy. It was so crazy. I was in and out. The teachers would tell me, even in front of people, Wewe Edel Senior, you will never make it in life. You're a failure. These things. So I would look at the teachers, and I don't internalize what they're telling me. I look at them because I was that kid. The people say, she's so wild, she's crazy.
Yes.
So I would tell myself internally, why is this person telling me this? They don't even know me. How are you telling me such heavy words? And to me at the time, I felt that my life couldn't get worse. So somebody telling me about my children going to do what in the future to Tateseka, I was like, no, it's too much for me. And I don't believe so. You've met my daughter.
Yes. Beautiful.
It was not true, anything they said. And I didn't take those words. Any word you take upon yourself and you agree when it's said upon you, it will be so. But I purposely used to let those words go over my head because I was like, no, it's not going to be. I'm going to be just fine.
Yes.
Where were Edel? Where were everybody? I was called a devil worshipper. It was so ridiculous. Any teacher sees me somewhere, you are going over the gate. I don't know, you are worshiping the devil at night. Things I've not even done. I was called a drug dealer when I was in school. I didn't even know drugs yet. Again, what you wish upon someone. Now, when I had all these experiences, I was very ostracized in school. Just that person who was alone there, crazy girl, all this. Now, when you're in this position, your sense of self, you don't quite have it. And the things that people are saying about you, the teachers have told me I am a failure. I'm going to be a failure. This is what people had thought about me. So when I was by myself, I was like, okay, so this is what is going to be of me. I'm a failure and all these things. I never performed well. I was always the last one in class. You don't go looking from here, my name will be here guaranteed. There's only one time someone passed me and she was unwell. I had to wonder how come I was second last, but she didn't finish her exams because she was normally on top of me. So this is what I had internalized about myself, failure. So I started telling myself the best thing I can do with my life, since I'm a failure, I think I had two things. Either I become a prostitute or I sell drugs. This is how I was going to survive. So from when I was very young, this is what I was thinking about, 14 and a half. The only thing that was in my dominant thought was about how to survive, sell drugs, and to be able to survive, live a very simple life myself. I'm a very private person. I like to be by myself. So this is what I was thinking in my head. My mother is there. What are you going to do in school? All these kind of things. But in my head, there was one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
I finished high school. My mom really insisted that I finish high school. I did it for her. I love my mom so much. And she's a scholar. She's really, and I was like, for your sake, I'll do it. I got a D, I don't think they give E's. If they give E, I got a D, but it wasn't an E.
Yeah.
D.
Yeah.
Mama D. My daughter is called D, so Mama D. So I got these results and I was just there. I was like, indeed, these people are right. But I didn't, it's not like I did exams. I was just looking at the paper. I looked at it. I was like, how many hours? 2 hours? I was drawing stick figures there. I was sleeping. I was chilling. What are you talking about? I didn't open any papers to do what? I was there for my mom's purpose. I didn't value education. Even when I was in class, nobody would take me seriously. Like, it was not my thing and I didn't care. I wanted to be left alone.
Just give me the certificate. And
Give my mother the certificate.
Yes.
Not me, I don't need it. So they gave my mother the certificate. Now I was out in the world. My mom really wanted me to do something, she's there, education. My mind is not there. My mind is just thinking about drugs and alcohol. I was lost. I was gone mentally. Nobody knows why. I got pregnant when I was 18. I ran away from home again after the certificate. I was like, I'm out. I went back on the streets. It was terrible. It was hard. I was in the streets for months. It was tough. I'm sleeping there, Kencom, in the ditches in the morning like this, so that, because at night if I do that, it's dangerous. Those men there, it's a hard life. You don't live on the streets. You cannot live on the streets, but I found my way. So every month I would go somewhere. Every day I would go somewhere, eat leftovers from a restaurant. I just enter, whether it's Sanford or what. People have left their food there, I eat it, I go my way. I have to stop. Hey, when I think about these things, it's so painful. I have to stop people to ask for money to eat. I have to beg, and they're wondering, this person who is speaking so eloquently, how are you asking for 40 bob, So I get myself some little milk, a cigarette, and then the next day and the next day. So I got pregnant. You can imagine how the streets are. I went back home. Now prodigal daughter is back. I went back home. Hard. My mom and I, of course, now are this way and this way. Now I have a child. We are trying to come together. My mom lives in Kiserian. So she says, okay, now I want you to go to college, get something to do with yourself, forget about your past, don't think about it, all these things. I was like, yeah, let's try that. So I came back to Nairobi. I got a place. I was living there. I went to film school. I went to Mohammed Amin. I was staying there. I was wondering, what am I doing there? I was always drunk. I'm looking at people. I'm like, are you people serious? We're only 9 in class. And everybody was even wondering, how do you survive? Every single day I'm drunk, So I met a best friend, a guy there who became my best friend. And now we were very close. He was very intrigued by me because of my behavior. The first day when you go to Mohammed Amin, they had these interviews, you go like panel of judges. So we are supposed to go there, panel of judges. Me, I'm drunk, I fell down. My dear is outside. He's like, what a disaster. Who is this? So he had an interest from that day, and then we became close.
Oh.
So we're navigating school. He's just looking at me. Okay, he's navigating school. I'm there alongside him. I started dating somebody. And the second month, I got pregnant with my son. The relationship wasn't going anywhere. He's a great guy, but then no, it was just not going anywhere. We were not compatible. Chemistry was there, but compatibility zero. But he was a great guy. He had great potential, but you don't fall in love with potential and whatnot. I just said, no, I'm not doing this. No, just go your way, I go my way. Now I have my 2 children. One day, I went out. That's what I used to do. I go out a lot. I go out. I meet a friend of mine. We were always meeting out. We meet, we're having fun. She's like, can I come to your house? Of course, come to my house. We go at like 5. After the party is finished, DJ has switched off the music, now we go home.
Yeah.
She used to have this habit that once she drinks, now she wants to cry. Those people who cry when they're drunk. I do not have any threshold for tears normally. Like, I am like, why are you crying? Why? So I closed the bathroom and I went to the bedroom. She's used to, oh, no, don't cry. I just cannot do it. I don't know how to do it. Even people that know me on a personal level know that you don't cry around her because I will not know what to do.
Yes.
I went through so much pain in my past that it numbed me. So I could not process why someone can think to cry. In my head, I'm thinking, if I was to cry, I would really cry. So I don't know why someone is crying. So no.
Yes.
So she comes, she's there. When she saw now I was not giving her the attention she needed, she changed her plan. She was like, or let's do this. She now needed attention and she decided a different way to get it. She's like, oh, let's do this. Let's do drugs. Would you want to do drugs? I was like, from where? Then she's like, I'll call someone. Then I was like, we do now. Okay. So she calls a guy. And the guy comes, opens the door. From the moment this guy looked at me like this, he didn't blink. This guy was looking at me through and through, a Nigerian guy. He came there, Helen is talking, so he's just staring at me. I was like, The next day we were to pay him. Now the next day we paid. This guy now calls me. He's like, can I come? Can I come over? I said, I beg, want to come.
Can I come?
So I was wondering, to do what exactly does he want to come? I said, okay, you come. My kids were not home. I said, you come. So he came and he sat there across from me and he's just looking at me. So we looked at each other. So we were looking at each other for like an hour. I doze off, I wake up. He's just there. So I was not understanding. Then he asks me, would you like something today? You know, so he has his thing. I brought you something. I brought you a gift. And then he gives me drugs. And I was like, this is good. I have more of the stuff from yesterday. How much is it? He's like, no, that's for you. I said, okay. From that day, that guy and I were close. Now, Lynn, if you remember correctly, what did I tell you when I was 14 that was on my mind? That I wanted with everything I had. This was the destiny I thought was for me because I had been told about being a failure. I'll be a failure. I could see my exams. So I knew it. So my dreams came true here. I was looking at this guy and I was like, oh, wow. So we were now together and now we were doing everything together. He gives me the substance. I feel so good. And now we're even in the business together. Oh, life was so good.
You're supplying.
Oh, yeah. It was good. Life was good. It was so good. Really so good. I'd only be good for so long.
Yeah.
Hey. One day, we were drifting. We had begun drifting. I'm a very intuitive person. I'm highly intuitive. I knew that this guy is not going to go far by how he was behaving. That's not a business to behave in any way. And I told him, stop behaving the way you're behaving. You don't care anymore because now he had made so much money. There's no reasoning, you see? He was not reasoning. I don't care. These are my streets. What are you telling me? I said, okay, they are your streets. So we drifted apart. In 2 weeks, the guy was arrested, flying squad.
What?
2 weeks. I was shocked. You know, you hear these things, you just don't imagine that they're actual things that could happen and you experience them. Cop cars behind him, I don't know, 4, and then the flying squad. He had sold to the wrong people, you know. So he was deported. So many of them were deported at the time. They left. And I remained now with my habit. I had gotten comfort in the drugs, and they were my refuge, and they were all I knew.
And the kids?
My kids were just there. They didn't know. At a certain time, I began now to talk to them when I was changing myself so that they can understand my journey and they can know exactly what is happening. My kids are my friends. They're my friends. So I became very skinny, you know, very skinny. I was so skinny. I lost all my teeth. I think I only have 2 of my own teeth here behind. The teeth fell down like I was a junkie the ones I don't know where, the ones who go to the rehab even beyond, like I was badly off. I was on my deathbed, literally. Nobody could know because you have to really pull yourself. But when pandemic hit, I was going, literally. But now before that, once this guy was arrested, hey, now here I am having a good life. I was like, now I'm going. I went to Europe. I went where? I was just going places, freedom, doing whatever I want, going on Tinder, meeting with people. I was wild, you know, I'm wild. So I met my husband in Munich. He had just divorced, and I was not looking for a relationship. I did not have anything to do with a person to have a relationship. In fact, when I met my husband, I had gone to see someone I was seeing in, where was he? In Switzerland. So I just bumped into my husband by chance.
Yes.
And I was like, I'm not looking for any relationship. I just meet people to talk to them or whatever. Like, no. He was like, I'm from a divorce anyway. I was not even looking for anything like that. So we became very close, almost inseparable. We were so tight. So he would come and visit me. Patin is wondering,
This chick.
yeah, this, what's going on? He tries to ask is what, she's such a great mom. He would always say, you're such a wonderful mom, but there's so much disconnect with you. Yes. You have everything in place and at the same time not. Like, are you okay? I'm like,
you have
okay.
everything in place, but at the same time not.
Yeah, so I'm just there. I'm like, yeah, you know, this is how I am. Yeah, I'm partying. It's just like daily. I was doing maybe 5-8 grams of cocaine.
Cocaine?
Yeah. And I would take pills, sometimes even take 11 pills. You're supposed to, one pill, some people split it into 2. I would take 6, 8, 10. I had nothing to live for. Nothing. You have nothing to live for because of pre-existing things you're thinking about yourself. You know, so this is the only solution. I hide from my kids. I'm doing these things, but I got to a point, I was fighting for my life. Literally fighting for my life. My dogs are the ones that saved me. This one and the little one there. They literally brought me back to life because I would sleep and my heart, it's as though it wants to burst. And when you get to this point, it'll beat so fast and then it doesn't beat anymore. So I had to make a conscious decision to live for my children. For my children only, but I would have died long time. And I knew this. You know, you feel your life slipping away. So you make that choice. Do I want to stay or do I want to go? My husband, in the meantime, he comes to visit me. He goes back. He loves me so much. My husband loves me with a passion. Now me, I was like, no, I have to now tell him the truth. You see, because it was now appearing to me like fraud. He loves something that doesn't exist, you know. He really loves me with his whole heart, you know, and I love him the same way. But I could not meet him where he was with me because of what I believed about myself.
What did you believe about
Now
yourself?
we are there. So with my husband every day asking me, it's not okay. There's something that it's something wrong. Could be, you know, asking me, pole, you know, and I was now beginning to go within, you know, what is this? What could it be? Now, you know, when I was much younger, you see, the way our parents came from a country, and then they made their life here, and then they bring people to live with you. So the relatives that were brought to live with us, who I believed, it's okay. I was young, I was like 8, you know, so, and we were so close. You see, they're people, these are my relatives, and they express to me how they love me and we love one another. But at night, they would take advantage of me, sexually telling me to do things that I don't know what. I was a child and my innocence was slipping away from me and I didn't know what to do with this information. I knew something wrong was happening. But my uncles, it was one. The other one did things in the night without thought I didn't know, but I was pretending to be asleep. Now this one would tell me, don't ever tell anybody because I will be in so much trouble. And because I loved him so much, I had to keep quiet in this discomfort. I was 8. My life changed from that point. I could not talk to anybody. Damn. I would go out, I look at my friends. I knew I was encountering, they're not encountering. You can tell. I kept quiet. My mom is so harsh. My mom is a very strict parent. And I even now thought in my mind I could be beaten or I've done something wrong. It was very twisted how I processed what was happening. But then he left and then my life kind of went back to normal. Age 9, age 10, age 11, and then another uncle comes. And now this one, when I'm sleeping, he comes to remove my, slowly, and just doing really horrible things. Now I was wondering to myself, why is this now happening? This is the brother to the other guy, not even that they don't know each other. So what was I telling myself? How do you think I was interpreting this? I started shutting things down and wondering why this is happening. But then I blamed myself. You see, I'm starting to try and think and get a conclusion. And then I'm like, but I think it's because maybe I don't matter.
Oh.
Yeah, it must be. Okay. Now age 12. Age 13, now my mom was traveling a lot out of the country. She traveled a lot. She got married to my younger sister's dad. He lived with us. We lived very great with him. However, he came with relatives. When my mom was away, the relatives would come there to the house and pick me from there. I'm 12 and a half, 13. Go with me wherever they're taking me. And again, doing things that nobody should be doing to a child. And I go back home. I have to just pretend like life is okay. So I go to school. I was not concentrating anymore. My life changed. What is the teacher telling me? Shouting now at me, asking me what is wrong with you without trying to find out. So in my mind, I'm still seeing I'm the problem. Through it all, I am the problem here. I rebelled. Now, if this is what was happening at home, this is why I decided I am better off
In the
streets. I didn't know I was jumping from the frying pan
To the
I suffered in those streets. In a way that nobody should, And the things that happened to me there was no way I would come out thinking I'm of any value. Sorry.
No, it's okay.
So I concluded these things as a matter of fact. And I was so serious. I'm a person who always analyzes themselves. So I would sit down and every time these things happen, I know I'm like, okay, it's because I'm like this. You see, even my uncles did this. Now, these ones are not my uncles. That's why now they're brutal. I was being beaten. Someone does this and now you stop fighting anymore so that they do what they're doing. You can't fight anymore. You've lost the fight, so you can't. So because you're nothing. You're worthless, you have no value. So they'll do what they have to do. I'm on the streets anyway. I would tell myself, nobody came to pick me from my bed. I have come here, okay, I'll suffer the consequences. So that became the premise which my life was founded, believing how I'm worthless and all these things. And in my mind, I had evidence. You see, I'm not making it up. These things physically happened to me.
Yeah.
So I believed what my mind told me. And it's who I became. Mentally, I knew I was worthless. I even wrote them down. You have to sit down and do the inner work. You have to be honest and speak the truth to yourself. It is so hard because there's so much shame in it. Shame is the worst frequency you can be on, because it wants you to die with these secrets, because secrecy, it thrives in secrecy. This is how it works. Shame needs shadows because it hides. So it showed up now in my relationship with my husband. There's a cashew nut tree there. There's a day I was physically hiding behind the tree because I thought my husband has finally discovered how worthless I am. I was just like, this is it. This is it. He has discovered and that's it. The guy is so clueless. And now there was such friction. You've met my husband.
Yes.
You see how he's
He's
such a great
amazing.
guy. Yeah. But now you can imagine the way he's so amazing. Me, I'm there with Emmanuel always. I'm not in this compound.
Yes.
My son is like, Mom, you're so restless. What is going on? I cannot stay here because I felt like the truth is catching up with me. Because now somebody here is in my personal space. I had to run. I had to keep running. And this is what I dedicated to do every day until I broke my leg.
Oh.
I broke my leg. Now I had to put myself on a surgery table mentally, and I opened up myself. Now I started to see the reason why I am the way I am. If none of these things happened, I would have been a different person. My life would have taken a different trajectory. But all through my life, people were so determined and dedicated to tell me how I'm crazy and how Edel Senior this, Edel Senior that I was lost in their descriptions of me, and I was taking it in, and so I had to show up as this person. Don't care, I don't know what, but deep down I was broken.
Deep down, I care.
Yeah, I cared. My husband says the same thing. My husband's like, you're the one who cares the most. So my life made me somebody that I'm not. So I had to reverse everything. I took an inventory of my life from the first day. My first year, I went year by year by year. Everything I've told myself, every belief system I have carried along the way, this is work. I've actually written a book, which is a framework. It's a roadmap that shows you A, B, C. If you do that, you will be free, guaranteed. You just need an open mind and to take your life in your own hands. My life was not in my hands because I was living people's ideas of me, failure. I don't know this. And it's how I saw myself. I had a fog in my mind throughout. I couldn't access myself. Now I know who I am. I am exactly who I am now. I have my power. I have my power back. I walk in power now. I'm not hiding. I'm not Jesus. It's so taxing to live the way I was living, because when I wake up, the first thing I have to do, because I'm a very confident person, so I was hiding everything I believed about myself with this confident persona. So it was tiring me. It was making me so tired to have to fake this thing, and deep down, and let me tell you, the people who are even doing these things to me, if you saw them, you'll think of yourself really horribly. You see, the people really. So I could not think of myself in any other way. I always believed, even when I was anywhere, when I was in Europe, you'd see people there looking at me and I'm looking at them. I'm like, if you guys knew how worthless I am, you'd not be looking. This is the program that runs you. And that's why I told you have to do subconscious reprogramming. Because anytime you're not there, you're drinking your tea, but there's that voice that's constantly reminding you of your capabilities, of your this, so it keeps you kind of in line. It has to keep you in line. You'll never thrive. You'll never be who you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
But this is the human machine. This is how we're created. The human machine is the most amazing once you understand how the system works, the human system.
Yeah.
Once you understand how the mind works, once you understand the ego is there for a purpose. Nowadays, I speak my inner voice. We are on the same team. It's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. And I look back, I'm like, am I the same person? My husband is like, I feel like I'm polygamous. How many women have I, since I was with you 5 years, I think he says he's had 4 women.
Yes.
He's like, the change. Immense change. Leaps, you leap, you change yourself. Everything changes. Yes. And I said to myself, with all this pain that I've endured like this, I don't even want to relive this story again, to say it to anybody. I'm just like, I'm going to forget about it. I have unleashed everything. I have come to the surface. I have found out where my issues were. I'm working on healing them. I'm reprogramming myself. That's it. I don't want to do this. But the thought of how people suffer mentally, the bondage that holds people in their heads, I cannot live with myself if I don't do something about it, because they will never do it themselves. If you don't have that willpower like me and that time to sit with yourself, people make themselves so busy. You'll never find somebody just sitting. You'll find me sitting. We are human beings, not human doing. So I sit a lot. I just be. I'm not doing anything in particular. I'm playing with Bailey. Or I'm just being, because this is what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to relax and be. It's not supposed to be helter-skelter word, but a lot of times you'll find people cannot, because of the noise. There's noise and you have to silence it. By distracting yourself, always going to where there are people, you cannot be alone, ever. That is the most feared thing to do. But if it is done, you're free.
You're free.
Completely. Completely. And it's not, I told you, it's not simple. It's easy, but not simple. What did I say? It's simple. No, it's simple, but not easy. But not easy. It's not easy. It is not easy, because every single day you're at it. Every single day. And there's another demon and another demon.
Yes.
And the Christians, the way they say they're praying for you for demons to come out, it's these things that are hidden in your subconscious mind. When they start coming to the surface, Lynn, oh my God, it is brutal. It is brutal, but you have to face them one by one and call them by their name.
Yeah.
And the minute you use your voice and you identify them, they leave you. They leave you.
They leave you.
I chose to use my voice. Let me tell you, Lynn, I don't talk usually, actually. I'm a very hidden person, with my things there, I hide them. So for me to do this interview, it has taken everything. in me. Everything. I would not have. And because I didn't have a voice, from when I was young, I was told I shouldn't talk. So this is what I carried with me. I shouldn't talk, so I was not talking. So I didn't have a voice. I couldn't talk. I've been singing here, screaming, so that I could have a voice for this interview. The voices would try to get me. I told you I'm getting myself together.
Yes.
That's the work I was doing. Otherwise, I was not going to be able to use this voice. There was so much going on. This is pulling you here. This is pulling you here. Remember how worthless. You have no value. It's not a lie. I was just like, no. Actually, no. I'm going to find my voice that was silenced, and I'm going to use it. I'm going to set myself free, and everybody else that I can. And I did it.
And you did it.
Yeah.
You are so God. Like, I'm looking at your space, and when we came in, you took me to that sacred place of yours right there, and you told me, Lynn, I've spent 2 years here, no internet, no nothing. During those moments, because you said it's doable, but I can't lie to you that it's going to be easy. You know, you keep having relapses. You keep saying, what am I even doing? Does this make sense? During those moments of doubt, what kept you going, and how did you deal with, here I am an addict, I have used for a long time, you have withdrawals. How do you deal with all that?
The doubt, what happens is when you begin to find yourself and you're on this journey, because it's an intentional one.
Yes.
These things will come. Fear, all these low vibrations, they will come, but you're ready because it's an intentional journey. And because you've started intentionally and you know where you're going, you can see. So this keeps you anchored. You know where you're going. And again, the pain of staying where you are, the pain of staying where you are, that pain, you will do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes. The thought of repeating that pain and staying in that space, you will get over it. You will do it. And when you begin with one step, you'll begin to see how possible it is. You experience the journey as you're going, and you understand this is the essence of life. Expansion of oneself, meeting with everything within you, fighting them, and then coming on the other side. This is the essence of life. There's no competition. There's no timeline for healing or what. No. You just have to make that choice, and you have to be honest with yourself, because what I have endured and what someone else has endured, you don't even have to have endured such dramatic trauma. No, someone could have just told you something one day and it disables your ability to do anything.
Absolutely.
Because you just remember, this boss told me this or that. It's a trauma, and if you don't release it, it will forever be there and it will block you. These are what are called blockages. They block you. You'll never access your higher self.
Yeah.
No, you can't. So you have to, nobody else can do this job for you. It's a job you must do. And when you understand what you're doing, when you understand the human system, it becomes so interesting even to do it. Because you understand what the ego is doing, what the mind is doing, what is in your subconscious, what you're doing. It's so interesting because you know what you're doing based on the intention that you began with.
Yeah. The withdrawals and the relapses.
My husband's love.
Oh.
He loves me so much. And he supports me so much that it's not possible for me I always put my best foot forward, because I feel like I have a spectator. You know, he's watching my life. He's watching me unfold. He's watching me heal. And I'm so determined. So in this spirit, I'm like, no, I don't need these drugs anymore, because now I've stepped into the power of, I know who I am. I'm not dealing with anything. Why did they do this to me? Because the reason why I was doing those drugs was to cope with myself, because I thought I was worthless and all these things, and to cope with the pain that was caused. It was not actually even the things that happened, but what happened after, because trauma is normally what you're left with.
After.
Yeah. So with all this and my husband's dedication, that man loves me with everything that he has, that gives me every day the momentum. My husband has given me a quantum leap of about a decade. I always tell him that. I would have done this job by myself. I was determined, but it would have taken me 10 to 12 years. My husband holding my hand, that man loves me so selflessly. And I said the greatest gift that I will give him is the woman I'm becoming.
Oh.
He's such, every single moment, he just checks in on me. He's just like, that journey you've been on, he's like, Paul, always checking in on me. And for that reason, I'm always putting my best foot forward. I don't think of, I don't know, drugs or what. No, I don't have a reason to.
Yeah.
I'm in heaven here. I have so many things to do. You see, they were serving a purpose. That purpose doesn't exist anymore.
Yes.
You see?
Yes.
Yeah, now I have love. I never even used to celebrate my birthday. Can you imagine?
Oh.
I thought I was so worthless that I never used to celebrate my birthday. I used to imagine people coming to celebrate me, a worthless person. How does that work? So I would hide. It's deep. It can get very deep. And you see someone on the surface. I was telling my workers, I told you we were very close.
Yes.
So I was like, you guys just see me here. Let me tell you, the pain you guys have been having here, you guys are just here laughing. Now let me tell you. And I was opening up to tell them about the pain. I was like, you can see someone the way they look. You guys could be seeing me and you're saying, oh, madam is so this. Let me tell you what happens inside me, what was happening. They were like, gosh, never see someone and just assume what. Be kind. Just be kind.
Be kind.
They would never have thought these guys have pulled me out of that murkiness, my workers. Because when I learned that shame needs, once you say, you remove your voice, it disappears. Now I was like, Emmanuel, come. Alex, come. Mimi, I feel this and this way. I'm struggling. I'm feeling pain. It's a really bad pain. And they take me through. They're like, this. It has to happen. It's a process, but don't let it stay inside you.
Wow.
Process it, get it out. They're so smart. These guys, they're in touch with the real life, the actual life. And then they ask me questions. They've navigated this journey with me, my workers and my husband. Support system. And I was crying to the point I'm just like, I had to now even stop hiding because they find me. And I'm now laughing because I found it now funny. Then I went back. They are just laughing. It was now it was funny because we're all like, eh. Yes. But then I'm like, you guys, I have to make sure I don't cry when Lynn comes here. There's no tears. They laugh.
Yes.
Yeah, we made a joke out of it, but they've helped me in the trenches. I was in the trenches. They were pulling me up. They're like, you're not unworthy. I'm telling you, believe me. And I'm like, are you sure? I have to tell you this truth. Are you sure? Emmanuel is like, I'm sure. Wewe vile uko na dhamana wewe. Because we were on the bike.
Yes.
Wewe vile uko na dhamana. Mbona unasema hivyo? And I was like, I didn't expect him to react that way because maybe I thought he was going to tell me, I was suspecting.
Wonder.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But then he came in defense of me. My husband was reacting the same way. And I was like, so it was all mental. It's all mental. And you'll believe these things because you think only you know them, so you have to hide them. And that's the reason why I'm speaking now.
Yes.
So that anybody, the way you believe so deeply that
about
yourself, it's not who you are, it's not the truth. Take the time, love yourself, be kind to yourself. Love yourself and take the time to just work on yourself. It's the easiest thing you will do and you'll thank yourself. In the process, it will be hard, granted. Lakini, on this other side, it's so good.
It's beautiful.
I wake up, I feel so good. I have my squirrels there. They say good morning. I have my bird there. He's called Hugo. He's a kingfisher. He comes to say good morning. I mean, it's so beautiful.
It's even the way you talk to them. They know what you say.
Yeah, they know. They understand, of course. Wolfie always gives me hugs. When I'm sad, I'm like, Wolfie, today is a hard day. Please give me a hug. He'll come in and give me a hug.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're here. So now I'm in full joy. I wake up, I experience a thing that not many human beings will ever get to this point, to say the truth, because it requires some kind of intense work.
It requires
that the society doesn't allow.
Yes.
It wants to fill your time distracting you. You're competing with, I don't know who, buttocks here, there. You don't have time.
Brazilian feet.
You don't have time for yourself. No. So the generation that we have especially so lost. Yeah. People are drinking, over drinking to bury these things. Problems that they should do something about. It's not the alcohol that's going to take away the problems. Tomorrow you'll wake up and you'll still be there.
Yeah.
You will still be there with those same problems, if not more.
Yeah.
So you have to take full responsibility of your life. My husband always says, another thing is to be honest with yourself.
There you go.
That one is a hard one for many people.
This is where you just use the analogy of a boil. For it to heal, you can't cover it up. You can't cover it up for it to heal. And I love how you talk about shame, because being honest with yourself means putting your shame on the table,
It's
calling
hard.
it by name, right? Yes, this has happened to me. This is what I've done. I am responsible for this. Now, where do we go from here?
Yep.
And I don't think many people have the grace to do that, because it requires you to say, I've been pretending to be this person, but this is not who I am.
Yep. It requires an amount of intention. Really, really, you have to sit with yourself. But the moment you make that decision, you're as good as it's only the decision to make. That's the hard thing, actually. Deciding, because you've convinced yourself so much of these horrible things. You can't even see your future. Let me tell you something, Lynn. You know, what happens is we're the creators of our reality. Whatever you think in your head is what is going to happen. This is how we are created. This is how the human is created. You transmit your thoughts out, and then they come back and it actualizes into real life. Now, if you don't do this inventory and heal yourself, this is the reason why your life will not be okay, because your thoughts are not in order. Thoughts become things. It doesn't happen any other way.
Yes.
So if you don't change what you're thinking, you will keep your life will actualize with all these things that you have in your head. I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm this. And when you have things, they come they exactly how you've expected. And because you assumed this to begin with, it's proving to you. Life is a mirror. The universe is only mirror what you're doing with yourself. So when I understood this, I knew there's no shortcut. I had to do the work. This is the reason why you do the work, so that you can now attract the future that's meant for you. Your higher self.
The real you.
The real you.
Yes.
Yes, because now you've dealt with all these things that are not you. The absolute nonsense is gone.
It's gone.
Now it's you.
It's you.
It is you.
Talk to me about the family unit, because you know you are coming from this stage where I don't want to deal with love anymore. Then here comes this man who is able just to be like your constant, right? And then the time you missed out on your kid's life, what kind of conversations do you guys have, and do they now get to understand you and what you've gone through?
When it comes to love, I was sure, infinity percent, that I would never be married. Because one of the things I thought about myself, and then another thing is I'm not the kind to settle. I have very high standards that if I was to be with someone, they'd have to meet these standards. And then I could see that I thought there was no one, because I couldn't see around me anybody modeling marriage. You know, when you see something, you can admire it. But I didn't see it anywhere. So I was not going. It felt like a trap to me. I was not going to pretend I'm the one who mine is going to work. I was just like, until I see someone that is telling me I'm married and it has worked for me, maybe I'll consider. So I decided it's better for me. My children are like, Mom, you get married, get another. I'm like, no, it's more than that. It's more than just having someone around. So they even stopped asking. Now, all of a sudden, my husband just appears. They're getting along. He visits, he goes back. They start to ask questions. And then eventually I said, okay, then I think we're married now, because he needed visa, you know, because he's coming and they need all the time stamping. So we were to marry because of this. But then I was like, actually, no, I'm not marrying him so that he gets, every time he comes after 3 months, he has to stamp a visa. And if we were married, then it doesn't need to be. I was like, actually, I'm not going to marry him because of that. I married this man because I love him. I love him with everything I have. My children love him. We just gelled. His children love me. We are all a huge, huge family now. It just became effortless. Like everything took its natural course. There was no rushing anybody. It just naturally happened. As far as the relationship with my children are concerned, you know, my kids are all I have. I'm alive because of my children. I made the conscious decision when I was about to die, not once, not twice, not thrice, to be here for my children. I got out of this drug overdose, not once, not twice, only because of them. So for this reason, they're my friends. So I talk to my children at the level where they are, you know.
Right now.
My son one day was like, Mom, you have to understand how old I am. Let's go with the conversations with my age. Because I don't want to miss my childhood. I said, fair enough. But if I don't tell him something, he comes back, Mom, just tell me. Just tell me. Don't worry, just tell me. I need to know. Otherwise, no, just tell me. Then I have to tell him everything. He's very mature. So it just happened naturally. They love him. And there we are. so good. Everybody gets along. Everyone, yeah. And my mom also. It's surprising because my husband is, I told you, he's 73.
Yes.
And you can imagine he's older than my mom. So somebody would have been thinking, how do you even approach this to your mother? I just said to her, I'm a person who is I don't care about anybody. You expect me, I don't care what you have. Societal expectations. Are you the one who's living my life?
Let's talk about that.
Are you the one who's living my life?
No.
I don't care. What people say about me in high school was true. Edel Senior does it. That's fine. But that only means that I know what I want and I do things that resonate with me. That's what is being, if that's what it means, then fine. I don't harm anybody. I'm not. It's just that I'm sure about certain things and I'm confident in my intuition and I listen to it. So that makes me look like I'm not going with the crowd and makes me look a certain way. It's okay. But deep down, I'm fine with myself. I am so happy almost all the time.
Yeah.
What happened was, you see, after all this trauma that I went through, I put it away. So my life has been so good. After high school there, I took control of my life and now I got into the alcohol and the drugs. But because I was so broken, I could not allow someone to add something else. So I was so particular about what I'm experiencing every day. So I've had a great life. Great, so good, really out of this world.
Yeah.
Wow, I've had a good life.
Yeah.
But when it was time to unpack, I paid it. I paid that price.
Yes.
Yeah, but it was worth it.
Yeah.
It was worth it. I'm light. There's a lightness that comes, a joy, You become in alignment with who you are. Everything just flows. No resistance.
No, nothing.
Nothing.
You just flow.
You just are, yeah.
Let me ask you, where did all the friends go, the people you used to party with?
I called them and I said to them, thank you for the time we had together. I'm a different person now and we don't resonate anymore. I would be lying to have a friendship going on. I had very long conversations with some of them, even 30 minutes. You see, you have to be honest. Just because we have a history, it doesn't mean we can go where we are going together. We don't have anything in common now. Why do we have to go together? Wish me well, let me wish you well. Let me meet the people who vibrate with me on the same frequency ahead.
And I feel like I have struggled with that. You always feel that because we have history, that means you have to always be in my life.
Have to. It's not also easy. Like the guy I told you that I was with, let me tell you, so that you can understand, lean, and begin to make the right decisions for yourself. This guy and I were so close. Really so close, like a friendship, a platonic friendship that it's not even someone would say, hey, this is too much. We were really so close. But what happened within the friendship that he didn't know, of course, is that I was pretending. You see, with that mask that I had, I was just there, just drunk or on drugs. So he used to come, look at me, on drugs, looking like I'm about to die. He would feel the pain, you see, because he's my friend. But me, because I know myself, I just know myself. I'm there and I'm just like, you don't have to worry about me. I'm having such a good time. But the image that he's seeing is different, So he's getting concerned. Me, deep down, I know I don't need help. Actually, if anything, I was really getting such relief from all this noise, all these things I have to deal with. It was so good to be in those in those trances. And now someone is coming there. I've not invited him. He just comes. He's giving me a lecture. I'm like, but I understood where it came from, So we go on with our friendship. On the onset, you see, these are two people that we don't have anything in common. But because we met in college, now we have established, I've told him my stories because there's so many. Oh my God. And he's a quiet guy. So I would always go do things. And then I come, I give him a report. So that's the kind of friendship we had. I did this. Hey, you should have seen. So I was pouring into him that way. And then he kind of felt that he was there to protect me or what, because me. But I didn't need any protection. I've never needed. But this is what he assumed. Now, when it came to the point where I'm healing and I'm here, the way he sees me, he sees like I have so much potential. Just the way you came and you said, you have to do a podcast, you have to do this. Now, every day he would tell me, to the point now he's like, I know, now Edel, I'm tired. Now I also need somebody to motivate me to motivate you, you know? It's like, I'm just really so tired.
Yeah.
But he didn't know that I have issues because I hid them so well. What did I tell you when you put this? I was in shock that this is me, because my best friend also is the cameraman, and he would try to bring the camera and tell me, BFF, just say something to the camera. You helped me with my whole life. You're always putting me on track. Why can't you help these people here? Just look at the camera and say something. I freeze. The shame, it comes on the surface. And I feel like even my face has changed its physiognomy. I feel like I'm looking funny based on my things inside.
Yes.
I can feel like now people are seeing them. So I couldn't explain this to him. So he's calling me all the time. He's like, BFF, let's do something. Let's do something. He wants me to start, I don't know, a channel, and I don't know do what. I'm not that person. You see, and the reason why I scrutinized you very closely was because in another life, possibly I would do what you're doing, but then I had to be honest with myself. I asked myself, how far would you go? You know yourself. And I knew I wouldn't make it. But it would have been something in the lines of my mind. Then I was now looking at you closely and I was like, let me honestly now look at Lynn and tell myself yesterday and today morning, if she has a fulfilling life itself, the life quality. And the answer was no. Yeah.
What do you think?
I didn't think the quality itself of the life is what you would want for yourself.
What do you think I'm missing?
Time to pour into yourself and to get yourself back. These are many things that you gather. You know, you can gather so much, but you also need time to process things. And this only happens when you take time to yourself. You take in so much, from so many people. You need enough time to decompress actually completely so that your vessel is free.
Yes.
Otherwise, you carry on you, because energy is contagious. That's all that exists. So you carry it with you, and then you'll not have a space for yourself because you're carrying way too much.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure you're sacred. Your vessel itself is sacred. You have to find that time to establish who you truly are. And when you show up in that light, everything will be in front of you. The path just comes there. You will not have to do anything. Everything just brings itself. But you have to have been very clean and clear with yourself. But when you're here, there, that time to do that will not be there. And it will become a habit to be so busy. And the idea of disappointing people because they already have this idea of you, now you betray yourself to make others, to fulfill their fantasy there of you.
To make them comfortable.
Yeah, with their opera. You see? So you're this is how it works. And now you're there. By the time you know it, you should have been here, I don't know, with the birds and what, but then your life passes you by.
Yes.
But you could have had it different if you struck a place and said, this is what I'm doing, I'm not doing any of this. And you take time to yourself, pour into yourself thoroughly, without apologies. Really pour into yourself.
Yeah. Unapologetic.
Yeah, nobody calling you or I don't know what.
Yes.
You're out of bounds.
Yes.
Period. When you do
totally
this,
agree.
when you do this, you'll find yourself, you're like brand new, fresh all the time.
Yeah.
When you don't do that, remember you're accumulating stuff. It'll blow up one day. You'll not even be happy with your own self. You wonder, how did I get here? And by the time you're asking yourself that, email is waiting for you.
Zimeja.
So you now don't attend to your own personal questions. You go back to the emails, and this is your life.
Yes,
yeah.
Totally agree.
It becomes your life.
I totally agree with you. I'm with you there. No. Like I told you I'm at a stage in my life where I have now to establish boundaries. I have to take care of myself. I have to be selfish with myself. So you are right. But talking of which, no internet, no TV. I am looking around. No TV.
Only Wolfie there.
Only no TV for a couple of years. Yeah. How is that, and why was that necessary?
The idea of this comfort to just sit in front of the TV as a thing to do. I'm a person that spends my time I'm so lean with my time, and I need to know how I'm spending my time. So the idea of sitting there in front of a TV, distracting myself, yet I've left the city to come and work on myself. I left that TV with the boda boda in Nairobi.
Yes.
I said, actually almost everything there. I said, I'm going there to build a hut. I'm going to stay in that hut until I figure out what's wrong with me. So I didn't want anything. I didn't want anybody disturbing me. I changed my number. Nobody calls me. Nobody. I'm just here by myself. I was telling you about my best friend. Now listen to me very carefully. Listen to this story very carefully. This is a man I loved so much, and he loved me also so much. Now, the way he used to see me in these situations where I'm there in the bed, bones, skin and bones, he was feeling so bad for me. So when I would see him experiencing me like that, I felt indebted. I'm like, this person really cares about me. What is like BFF? Don't worry, just work on yourself. Pull yourself out of this. Why are you even doing the drugs? Pull yourself out of this. Let's work together. Let's do something. I'm waiting for you, BFF. I'm waiting for you. For years, this guy has told me that over 8 years. Can you imagine? Telling me, seeing my potential and telling me I need to get out of this thing that I'm in so that we can work. And he was really encouraging me. Now, last year, I was like, okay, I think I can do something. I'm going to go online and then I maybe teach people because I'm very passionate about teaching.
Yes.
So I'll teach people about life because I figured it out in and out. You know, I was like, now let me do this. But I said to think to myself, the thought of going to the internet every day, I have to be communicating with people. And I'm so good at this problem solving. I'll feel so guilty if I leave someone hanging. I'm like, I have had such a hard life. I don't want to do anything. You see, when the email I wrote where I want to go 5 years and do nothing.
Yes.
I just realized I don't want to do anything. I want to be left alone. Now, in October, he was calling me. He's like, no, BFF, please, let's do this. It's the one thing you need to do. Believe me, you know, really encouraging. So because of the history we had, I felt that I needed to do this. You see? And I was like, it's like I'm disappointing him. This is now, but last year it was now 10 years telling me, let's do this. So I was like, let me prove to him I can do this, you know. But I didn't want to do it at all. At all, nothing in me. He wanted to come with the cameras like this. And then I don't know. And I was like, that's not me. I would do it and I would do such a good job at it, but it's not truly who I am. I will be doing it for him. So yesterday when I was reflecting, I was like, oh my God, I was so close to doing this. And then it would have required me to be recording myself daily. I don't have it in me. I don't have it. But because I would have started, I would have been forced to continue.
On.
Yeah.
Oh.
My only desire was to talk to somebody and help them out of the mud, not to be consumed there to do what he thought was right for me. So I had to think, and I called him and I'm like, I'm so sorry, but I can't continue this friendship because the things you feel so strongly that I should do, then they don't come naturally to me and we won't head properly. If you come with your cameras and you start doing this, it won't work. It won't work. And now, with that aside, the friendship itself, it cannot work because you don't know me. You don't know me at all. At all. You just know what I have shown you, and I did it every single day to hide who I truly thought I was.
Yeah.
Who I am now, you don't know. And at the point I'm in, I don't want friendships with anybody. I want to find out who I am first, and then the people will come
later.
Yeah, the people that I resonate with, because we were so different. So you have to empty before anything comes. You have to give everything, leave everything behind, whether it's a person, whether it's things. They hold you back. They hold you back. If you're in your house, you have doorknobs, what fix them? These are the things that bring issues in your life, and you actually don't have that clue. You cannot see it clearly.
Yeah.
Fix your life.
Wow.
Fix it. People, things, if you don't use them, they need to go. And it's not in a bad way. So I picked the call and I called everybody, my children's godmother, godfather, in a very nice way. And they understood, because I would have not even been here if I still had those friends. Because everybody has an idea of what I should be doing.
Or who you should be.
Yeah, and now me, I'm there, especially with my best friend. This was the problem, because even the words he was saying, he would say like, lakini BFF simi nakujua tu. And I'm like, I don't think you do, because now I was now only meeting myself, and he didn't have that capacity to now deal with who I am, because I tried to explain to him, I really have some issues. I have to heal them so that I can do anything. And then he'll be like, you're still talking about that. BFF bado naongea hizo story. So he didn't have that capacity to understand the depth of these issues.
Wow.
So you must understand the people that are around you, you have to be saying the same thing you're saying.
Yes.
Otherwise, then you will not go where you're supposed to go.
Yes.
These branches will be so many. Have this idea here, this idea that you don't attend to what comes to you naturally. Your actual alignment, the path in which you have been called for, will forever be distracted. Your destiny will be blocked because of listening to this person and this other one and this other one.
Wow.
Yeah.
How is your relationship with your mom right now? And when you look at these relatives that did this, have you ever thought of telling them, I know what you did and it was not okay?
The relationship with my mom, that's a very good question, because of the way we are, you know. My mom, from when I was a young child, we're very close, very close. My mom is blind. So I'm the one who has been her right hand, always reading for her, always have, you know. Then it changed, you know, and it just changed. Then my mom started getting into religion more. She was really dedicated to, we were SDAs, we were raised SDAs. And SDAs, you know, we are conserved, not we, they're conserved, there's no drama, very chill, you go to church with your skirts on the ankles, nothing, you don't eat meat, just eating soya, very laid back. Then she changed her religion and became very fundamentalist, you know, very, just something that for me wasn't working. I'm a thinker. I think a lot. Anything that I employ in my life, best believe I have thought it through and I have understood that it will work for me. But you will not come to tell me I should do this because it has been done in history or what. That's got nothing to do with me. If they've done it in history, me, I'm here now. What are you telling me?
I'm the present.
Yeah, I'm here. And they don't even, no, I'm not doing the way they did it. Me, I'll do my life the way I will do my life. So there was that
Friction.
yeah, big time friction, because my siblings kind of like, my mom is, she's an iron fist, you know, being a single mom, blind mom, very career oriented, because she was really up there, up in the ranks. To be there, it requires you to have a certain lion spirit. So with that kind of persona, my mom is a no nonsense. She's the one, people here, they scatter. When she hears, when she comes, everybody has run away. You know, you're just scared. But I have this very strong personality. I was ready to go, you know, head on head. And it was not easy. It has not been easy. It has not been easy with that fact. You'll not believe what I wanted to do. I was going to cut my own mother off. Because to me, this idea that I must, I don't know, it's not me. Bible and religion, generally religion, not only Christianity, I don't subscribe to it. It doesn't guide me, and it never has. I have a very strong intuition. I trust myself. I don't see where no, it doesn't work with me. And now my mom is the kind who wants you to repeat after her certain things, you know, this kind of really programming and conditioning you so that you know nothing else. But I don't blame her. She has a very hard past that only God, in her knowing and in that time, it could only be the hand of God, you know? So I understand the passion and I understand her. However, I have to reason. I understand your story completely, but I have to reason. I have to reason. So I said to myself, I've cut everybody off because I know my mom and how stubborn she is and all this religion. There's no need to continue, because like on Sunday, when Sunday comes and I'm at my mom's house, I dread it, because from morning it's praise and worship. There's an energy there of doom, pending doom. It's as if I don't know who is about to descend. I don't like this kind of stories because they don't make sense to me. The actuality of what you're telling me. So putting myself in that energy, this one for the judgment day is tomorrow. I can't stand it. It is such an energy that's heavy. So because of this, and because now I was doing away with things that make me feel a certain way, I said, it's unfortunate, but I think I'll have to do this. So I said, okay, and then I slept. But something told me in the morning, pick up your phone and talk to your mother. I called my mom. I didn't even plan on anything I was going to say because I had concluded I'll block her because there's no reason to have even that conversation because it's her life, she's dedicated, and each and every one of us have grandchildren, her kids. No option, you must be that way. So I was just like, I don't have time for that. Let me let her live her life in peace from a distance. Let's love each other from a distance. Let me tell you, I talked to my mom the next day and I just expressed myself. First, I begin from the beginning. You know, Lynn, my mom used to ask me every time when I was growing, that time when I was having all these things happening and I went into alcohol, she would find me drunk. Maybe I'm just somewhere, I'm drunk, I'm so tired of drinking. She's asking, what happened to you, my child? My sweet, sweet sounding child, you had such a nice voice. Now you're just smoking and drinking, I don't know what. But not asking me in a way that I should answer. It was in a condemning way, like, what have I done wrong? So she fought this battle on her knees. If she talked to me then, it would be different, you see? Because I would have said the truth. And this harassment was not only happening at home, by the way. When I was in high school, the teachers were doing the same thing. The one time I talked, I was not believed. So I decided I can never talk.
Okay.
The one time when I decided, I think this is too much for me. Let me say this. I said in front of the headmistress and my mother, Mr. Makani normally calls me to go there and he asks everybody to leave, puts me behind the door and he tries to really grab my breasts. And then the teacher there is saying, who told you to go there?
Oh.
What are you talking about?
Oh.
You know? And I was just like, wow. And it ended there. There was nothing that, from that point. And I was like, oh, okay, just like I thought, indeed, I'm worthless because there's nothing to be done. And anyway, this is what needs to be done to me, it looks like. You see, so I just didn't have that sense of, oh, I matter to anybody, you see. So that was that. And I said, okay. So I told my mom, you asked me this question, you know, a couple of times. Now I'll tell you what has been happening with me. When I was young and you were away, this is what your brothers did. My mom was shocked. She was shocked beyond words. But immediately, she knew I was not lying. She said, I believe you and I'm sorry.
Oh.
I am so sorry. My mom was so sorry that she healed me in a way I never knew possible. My mom was so sorry. From that day, I had maybe 4 or 5 phone calls with my mom. I've explained to my mom my feelings, my beliefs, all these things. My mom is listening to me. My mom is on my side. I'm telling her about how I don't believe in all this heaven, hell, it's right here. The way I described my story to her, she now understands what I am saying. And she's my number one supporter.
Oh, good.
Can you imagine? That is, like, for me, like the highlight of the end of my journey. I was so touched by her change. Even my husband is like, that's your mom. I'm like, well, everybody can change. Really, yeah. She's accommodating, supportive, not forcing me to, I don't know, she's respectful of me, apologized profusely for everything that happened and asked me to bury it and start afresh. And I felt so good.
Yes.
Yeah, felt so good because she didn't trust me. She didn't, that day, I wondered why she didn't say anything. So I just went in my head thinking, wow, if that's my own mother, then it means really I have no value. It's the truth, you know. And that's what you believe.
Yeah.
And then you hide it.
So for many years, people told you who you were. People said, oh, this is how you'll end up. This is what we see coming your way. Years later, who are you?
Before that, those same people look for me to advise them on life. Those very same people. I used to be on social media now, of course I'm not. But before, it was always, teach me your ways, Edel Senior, teach me. It was always that. It's like I dedicated my life actually to prove to people from high school that I'm not who you thought I was. So when you saw me on social media, I was so proud of myself because they were the ones actually liking those, and they were like, and their own lives were not what they thought they would be. You know, someone is just really pouring their heart. They're like, what do I do? You seem to be so happy. How did you get there? Yeah, you didn't think I would get here, but here I am. I helped whoever I could, but when I decided to cut everything off, I don't have social media. I don't care about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, who are you?
Wow, I am a powerful woman. I am a powerful being. I feel this power that comes from my core. My core. I'm one of the greatest people that has ever walked this planet, to say the truth. I will walk across the globe. I will teach in huge places.
There you go.
For sure. Like I look, you see, when you take out the wounds, you are able to access your higher self. When the wounds are there, they block your vision. So you can't have access to yourself because you're catering to them every day. Once they fell off, I have a relationship with 40-year-old me, 50, 60, 70. I know where I'm going and I know who I am. So I'm one of the greatest teachers that has ever walked this earth.
Period.
Yes.
Period.
Period. And
That's that's on period.
Period. Period. And you see, if I didn't continue with my own personal path to discover that I'm a teacher, I would have listened to my best friend and I would have been going that path of influencer, which is not me. It's not who I am. I stayed on my path even when I was not really seeing where I'm going. Sticking to your path, that's where the alignment will come. It will find you there.
Can you say that loud and clear? Because personally, there's nothing else I would rather be doing than this. I love this, whether I do it in big portion or small portions. Like I love what I'm doing. But I feel like before I got to actually want to do this for the rest of my life, there were always thoughts of, oh, should I have been this? No, I should be this. It's like there's so much confusion because sometimes following your path does not equal money, right? Let's start in a layman's language. You want to wake up, you want to grind, you want some money, you want to save. That's how we've been conditioned. Life is about you grow up, go to a good school, get a family, hustle, grind, live in a beautiful house, have a car, rather all those things, right? And I feel like a lot of people are there. A lot of people are in that, like, this is how life should be. This is how you should live your life. What would you like to tell them?
First of all, you need to ask yourself, are you living your life or are you living life like you're told it should be? You need to establish this. When you get to the core of what life actually is, you realize it's not what you think it is, because you were not born to do that. You're born to take time off, enjoy yourself. Like there's this attitude of you must be productive. This thing, it will kill so many people. It will stress you to the point of depression. You're doing so much, you can't see it yourself because you have bigger things you think you're supposed to be scoring. That will be the detriment of you. So you must know yourself and then appreciate yourself. When you do this, you know, when you're thinking in that way, there are things you're avoiding internally, you know. But when you know yourself, you will not be swayed by anybody telling you this is what you need to do. Absolutely not. So you must start by knowing thyself. The Greeks said this. Those are the only two words that they said for years and years and years. Look at ancient wisdom. It begins with you. Once you know yourself, everything follows. What happens is most people are actually operating from their wounds, from wounding. They're not themselves. So if you don't establish this, you'll find even the career you have is from a wound. You're trying to prove that you could make it to be a doctor because, like me, you were told you're a failure. So you're proving you don't want to be there. So it is so important to know thyself.
Know thyself.
Yeah, that's why the Greeks said that those many years ago, even without religion, this is what you're told. Know thyself. Yes.
God.
Yep. Period. Once you know that, everything then just aligns effortlessly.
And your tribe comes.
Yeah, effortlessly. Because it's you that needs to work on yourself. Everything else comes. It gravitates towards you. The work is on yourself, everything else. I tell you, like a magnet, people will come, circumstances, situations, you're just there, you're like, hello. But if you don't do the work, you will never get there. You will keep repeating patterns. You'll just be there, stagnated. You don't even know who you are. So how do you even navigate anything other than what you've been told you should be doing? And people are so solid in this pursuit. I find it crazy.
I know.
I find it absolutely nuts.
Like I was just saying, Denzel says, do not confuse movement with progress. They are not the same thing.
They're not the same thing. They are not the same thing. I just find it so absurd. How do you operate like that?
But then someone will ask a very reasonable question. If you don't move, what will you eat?
But because you're not moving physically doesn't mean you're not moving.
There you go.
Yeah. You can be working with yourself, with your mind. Like now you're sitting here in front of a billionaire. I tell my workers that they laugh. It's the truth. I work with my mind so intricately, and then because I know myself, my higher self gives me the things that I need to do.
And
I'm doing this interview because I know this book will sell.
Yes.
Will sell. I'll become such a millionaire from this book. People are going to help themselves. I was looking at this whole, I was like, I like this. I really like this. So I've given everything to this book. Lynn, it's like I birthed something from my soul. And I was doing it. This is the law of cause and effect. You see, people need this information that I have. You see, everybody has their place in this earth. When you understand it this way, you have to put yourself where you need to be.
Yes.
Then everything works.
Yeah.
You see, I stay in nature a lot. I understand how it works. I watch it very closely. And every day, like I go with my husband normally to the beach in the morning, like 5 sunrise. You observe things in a way, you realize you have no business worrying about anything because everything has its time, its place. It's so beautifully the symmetry of life.
Funny
but you must know yourself.
You must know.
To fall in that music of life, to flow in it, you must know thyself. And that's what I dedicated myself to do.
You know, the crazy thing, today in the morning, we were watching the beach. So maji ikirudi uko ndani, and there were 2 birds coming to eat what the Nini had left behind. And I was like, man, this is crazy. They don't have to worry about where food is coming. Everything has just
taken care of itself.
It's taken care of. God, why do we worry so much?
Because we've been taught that way. Yeah. It's so important that the system stays that way so that people can work for it. You see, like now, I don't know, the government, I don't know, not only Kenya, there's inflation and so much happening. There's so much chaos and tension, financial crisis everywhere. It didn't happen just overnight. You see, this is a collection of energy. It's a collection of energy that has made whatever we're experiencing happen. If we individually changed our energy, we would have different results. So it's not an effort that I make by myself. I must change, you must change, he must change, him. It has to be a collective effort. Then we can face different things, a different reality. But the way reality is now, they've set it up for us like that. You have to stay in that job. You have to, so that it can sustain itself. But before all this, there was life and there was people. Find yourself and then find your place. It doesn't have to be where you've been told.
Yeah.
Some people, they work with that kind of comfort. We have to give them that. And it's okay. That's how you thrive. But there's some people, Kwanza like me, you cannot employ me. Nobody. How do you begin? Tell me, how do you begin to employ me? Where and as who? Who are you? So with this idea that I have of myself, I have to make do. I have to do something else. And this is because it's who I am. So my higher self knows who I'm supposed to be. And so I have to go there. I'm now not a drug dealer. So interesting to look at myself that way. This is who I thought I was. Do you know, even people in school had called me that before I became that.
They called you a drug dealer before you became a
on
drug
WhatsApp,
dealer.
one day I'm sleeping. I wake up, we were on WhatsApp after the WhatsApp for school. I'm seeing there some chick saying, hey, Edel, senior, the way you used to sell drugs in school. I was thinking to myself, what are you talking about? I didn't even know them when I was in school. But little does she know that's what I was doing. And I was thinking to myself, hey, the way I'd made so much money that night, I was like, whatever.
Yeah, yeah.
But it's who I'd really believed I was, but it's not.
It's
I've
not.
taken my time, known myself, and now I step into teaching, you know. I am so passionate about life because I understand life. You know, I really actually understand how we are here and how it has come to be. I find it the most fascinating topic, human condition in life.
In life.
Yeah.
Is there a part of you that regrets the drug dealing process?
Never.
Given
I don't regret anything in my life.
you don't regret being a drug dealer?
No, I don't. Actually, my husband used to ask me this. For me at that time, when the way I was seeing, for me it was life and death. It was keeping me alive. So I didn't see anything wrong with it. When it hit me that this is a dangerous thing is when I started to say to myself, you know, even my clients were my friends. You see, these are people that were my friends, people like you. It's not like I was getting people, no. People, doctors, pilots. So I knew that I was helping them. They talked to me because we were friends. So we would talk. They would talk to me about their problems. So I knew that this was helping them. So there was no way I would look at it in any negative way. I just thought it was dangerous, yeah, but I didn't see like it was wrong at all. Now you wouldn't catch me. My husband finds it so funny because before he was asking me, I was like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just dangerous. I'm okay. He's like, really? I'm like, yeah, but I don't regret any of it. It helped me, you see, because if it was not for that, then what would I do? It literally was what was keeping me up and putting me to bed. Sometimes I would stay 4 days without sleep just so that I can take as much as I can. It was so good. So it's what it was then. I don't have any regret actually in my life. None.
It's a chapter in your life.
Yeah, it's what it was. It's who I was. What else would I have done? I had very limited choices, you know. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't regret at all.
Yes. Before I wind up, the book.
Oh, yes.
Because I know it's something you are working on.
Yep.
But then they will be asking me where they can be able to. I know you don't use a lot of, you're not just, maybe you can even log in once, email and disappear. I noticed when I was doing the follow-up to the email for the contact details, I waited 4 days.
You did?
You remember? And I just knew this one, she's not logged in. She might never log in.
Do you know what happened when you took time to respond?
Yes.
The ego came back and it was like, well, you've done this work for nothing. It's because you're worthless. She's found out. I was like, no, ask my husband. He saw drama here. I was like, I should not have done it, And then he's just there looking at me. I just, because it's a journey to get this thing out of you. It's a real journey. And then I was like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? Do you know what I was going to do? Now I was going to block you.
Wow.
I was like, this is not even something I need to talk about. Oh my God, I should not have thought I could do this. It was just like almost 12 hours, back to back. And then I was like, what are you saying? What are you talking about? You know Lynn. You've talked to Lynn. You've met Lynn. Do you know in my head, I've sat with you. I had laughed with you. So what was I saying? What voice is this talking? What do you mean? What are you talking about? I just said, you shut up and you leave.
Yes.
Yeah. And I told my husband, and then eventually you emailed. I was like, oh, then Lynn emailed. My husband just looked at me like, girl. Hey. It's a journey.
It's a journey,
yeah. And to say such things, the reason why I utter them is so that nobody should feel that they should be ashamed of themselves for having any kind of thoughts whatsoever. Embrace yourself and just rewire yourself. Make the voice inside your head your friend, because it will tell you the most horrible things that you'll be so embarrassed and shy and ashamed that you don't want anybody to even find out. So you keep it to yourself.
Yeah.
And these kind of things actually show up in relationships. This trauma, it comes out in the relationships. Me, I'm sitting there. You see the way my husband is lovely. Something happens and now I'm not talking. Now in my head, something has told me, there it goes, there. So he comes back to there in the heart. I'm not talking now, it's silent treatment. Can you imagine silent treatment to him? How do you even begin? How do you begin? Now I'm there, I'm looking at him, I'm like, this is not good. This is such a great man. And the way he loves me, why am I keeping here silent treatment? So I had to analyze myself. I'm like, what shuts you down like this? Why do you really clam up? What's the problem? So I had to sit again, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. You see, when you normally come to talk to me, these things just, they ambush me at once. And the idea that I had always believed nobody would marry me because I'm worthless, and now here you are, it's as though I have cognitive dissonance. My beliefs and what is happening in my real life, they don't match. So I just don't know what to do. And I talk to him every single thing I say to my husband. I express myself in a way he's never even experienced, but I do this very strategically so that I overshadowed my shadows.
Wow.
Yeah, I did it very strategically. Otherwise, I would not have done it this fast. Yeah,
this fast. Man, totally relatable. World War III. What?
It's painful. So painful, but it's worth it.
Yes.
It's so worth. This other side, I'm so light. I'm here with my workers. I'm like, I'm not crying anymore. And they're just teasing me there. They're laughing. But there's such solid support system. You know, I sit there. I'm like, sasa ndo kalete bomb hapa sasa. Tuvute hii bomb. Mana. And then they come, they sit, they smoke there, and we talk. And I feel so good, you know. These genuine conversations, these conversations, they're what add your life, your immune system. These genuine small talk conversations, these ones, they're so enriching.
They are.
When you finish talking with someone like that, I normally feel so good. So good. Something I never experienced before. Because before, I was always focused on controlling the narrative so that the person doesn't
see
me. Yeah. You know, even the people that have that imposter syndrome, you go to work and now you think you don't qualify for this job. Now the entire time you're just thinking somebody is going to come and find out you're not qualified. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. So my people there they're so solid. We talk about real life. They talk about their own personal issues. And then you realize the issues are the same with humanity. It's just on different scales.
Yeah.
You know, it's so beautiful. So every day I wake up here, I'm literally in heaven.
Yeah,
no exaggeration.
This place actually, if like, you have such a beautiful home.
Thank
Edel.
you.
It's beautiful. It's so,
Thank you.
it's so calm. You know.
Yeah.
It's so much.
Healed me,
so
you know?
much peace here.
Yeah, because it healed me. The space healed me, and so the energy remains. It's such a healing place. And when I was coming here, I didn't even plan on coming with my husband because I was running away literally to go completely. He insisted. Then that man has stayed with me like this. That I can't even imagine my life without him. I can't. We follow each other like buttocks here. If you want to say, me and my husband, if you see my husband, you know you've seen me.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just...
Yeah. Do you miss Nairobi?
No. 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 Never. No.
No, you don't.
No.
Higher, the book.
I was thinking about it because I never wanted to rush myself.
Yes.
Because it's like from my soul, like I told you. And I wanted it to be very user-friendly. Anybody to pick it up and read it. Not coming here with jargon, psychology jargon and what, no.
Yes.
So I'm almost done, and I would really pray and beg that you wait, I tie it up and then you put it under the link there.
Okay.
I will. That's the only thing I can think. I can't imagine anything else. I don't know anything else. Yeah.
All right.
I'm almost done. So will you give me a few days to tie it up? I want to tie it up, and I also want to do an audio version.
Yes.
Because it's so important that I say certain things that I can't express in writing. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm so happy to have done this.
Me too. Happy 37.
Thank
I
you.
can't imagine you chose your birth. You know, when we settled on the date, I knew there was a reason why. You see, I was avoiding questioning.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why the 20th? Why
23rd?
can't
Why
we
not?
do it on 24th or 20?
Yeah.
But then I was like, we've waited for so
Yeah.
long
There
to do
has
this.
to be-
there
yeah.
has to be a reason.
Yeah.
And I was very intentional on being here
Thank
this
you. I
particular
could feel
day.
it because even the email I wrote to you was from my heart.
Thank
really,
you.
yeah, it was really from my heart. And when you read it and you read it, I felt when you had read it, and I was so happy.
Yes.
The minute you read it, then I started to create this interview.
Yes.
Imagination is the only reality. If you don't understand this, you will keep operating from limitation, from lack. You know, the mindset becomes different.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have to organize yourself in a way that you know you're the creator of your reality.
Good.
Yeah. So I thought of it. I talked to you. I sat and I cried for those 3 months, and then I got out.
And then here we are.
Yeah.
We are
Jesus.
here.
Ooh. Oh God, I really cried every morning. If my husband was here or not, every morning I would be on a voice note. I send him all 30 minutes, 1 hour. I'm speaking. You see, when you're in this journey, the things that come up are so horrible that they also don't want to come out because you're like, oh my God. But I had to get them out. Once you tell someone, freedom begins. Your freedom begins. Because my husband was there backing me up. He was saying, oh, I understand how you've been operating this way, because he was wondering, you've met somebody different, Lynn. You know, before I was different. I was a hoarder. I had things buy them in all colors. If it's something, I have it in all colors. My husband has taken time with me, holding my hand, guiding me. And then I realized, oh, I was a hoarder because I have this kind of issues and this and this. And we sit and we analyze things. The most beautiful thing, I always tell my husband, I'm one of the most happiest married women that ever existed. Really, truly, and I say that from my soul, from someone who never thought would ever be married. I love marriage, really, with my husband.
You love it?
Yeah, I love it. I live for it and I love it.
You're amazing.
Thank you, as you are.
No, you are amazing. Like, you know, sometimes when you sit and you have these conversations and you feel like you've known this person for such a long time, then you just don't take it for granted.
Yeah.
Energy doesn't lie.
It doesn't lie.
It doesn't lie.
It's
And
only you who lie to yourself.
Who lie to yourself. I hope I get to sit with you again.
We
Maybe
will.
after 5 years.
Not necessarily.
Yeah, because I know you said you are disappearing, but
but then I would establish a friendship with you. I saw it that way. I even told my husband something. I was like, you know, I feel like Lynn needs some kind of sane release. You know, to feel like, if I tell this person this one, atanielewa. There's this feeling that someone has that
only a particular tribe can understand. Yeah, and I appreciate you. And thank you for opening, you know, your home to us. We are sitting here in such a lovely space. We've been outside. Your dogs, God, you know, we met your daughter, your lovely husband, the people who work around here, they have such beautiful energy, you know, and I can only hope that the intention and the purpose for this interview was to be able to get someone out of where they are right now and to exist in their, you know, authentic self with no shame.
No shame, with worth.
With worth.
Worth.
No shame.
This is your birthright. When you're born, you are worthy because you were born. Take that and deal with it from there. It's not about what happened to you, who said what. That holds no water. It should not. Set yourself free. Decide to set yourself free. Nothing should hold you back. It's not about your background. I tell my workers here every day because they had a mindset of poverty.
Yes.
You know, because like Alex was like, no, but you know, us who were just born to be poor. I said, no, you are not born to be poor. You were born in poverty, but that's a mindset. You'll have a scarcity mindset and you will stay there. Get yourself out. When you were born, you had worth. He was like, what? Worth. Because he imagined being born in poverty, it automatically shaves off your own human worth. I said, no. You have to face yourself and know that you're worthy.
Yeah.
Tell that yourself and feel it. And then you start saying, oh, then if I don't feel worthy, then other people don't experience me being worthy. And I said, then he says, no wonder my father-in-law doesn't really give me respect. But it reflects. If you don't feel yourself, if you don't go to him with confidence, he sees that you have no self-worth. It shows. You know, so work on yourself.
Work on yourself. I don't usually do this, but if you could wind this show for us, just do you wind the show up for us in whichever way you want to do it.
Okay.
Yes.
I would first and foremost want to say that this has taken everything from me to sit here to do this interview and to talk about things that I would rather never revisit and let them be in the past. But I did it specifically because even as a matter of energy, I felt a lot of people needed to hear me speak and to hear the story from me. From last year in March, when I broke my leg, I made a vow and I said, when I'm done with this healing process, I will make sure to come out in the open and express myself and help. And I know it's not one person that I'll help because these things plague every human, whether we want to admit it or not. So at any level that I have helped you, I'm very grateful. And I want to say thank you so much for watching me up until this point. Really grateful. I really am grateful, really. And I genuinely love you. and you're worthy.
Peace.